A single unpatched server didn't breach Equifax. 4 separate systems had to fail at the same time, and they did for 76 days. On March 7, 2017, Apache disclosed a critical flaw in Struts, a framework Equifax used to run a public dispute portal. The patch existed. It was public. Equifax's own security team circulated the advisory internally the very next day. Failure 1. The patch was never applied. The internal email asked administrators to update vulnerable systems within 48 hours. The dispute portal server was missed. A scan was run a week later to find unpatched Struts instances. The scan didn't find the portal because the scan didn't reach that subnet. On May 13th, attackers found what the scanner had missed. They entered through the dispute portal. 1 server, 1 known vulnerability. What happened next is failure 2. And it's the one that turned an incident into a catastrophe. The network was flat. Once inside the portal, the attackers could reach dozens of unrelated internal databases. There were no walls between the public-facing app and the crown jewels. They found credentials stored in plain text on a file share, unencrypted usernames and passwords for 51 separate databases. For 76 days, they queried those databases. 9,000 queries. Nobody noticed. Failure 3. The monitoring system that should have inspected outbound traffic was blind. Equifax used a tool to decrypt and examine encrypted connections. Standard practice. That tool required a valid digital certificate to decrypt traffic. The certificate had expired 10 months earlier. Nobody renewed it. For 19 months, outbound traffic from internal systems had been leaving Equifax uninspected. The breach was only detected when the certificate was finally renewed on July 29th. Within minutes of the new certificate going live, the monitoring tool saw what had been invisible. Encrypted data was leaving the network to servers in countries Equifax had no business with. 147 million people. Social security numbers, birth dates, addresses, driver's license numbers. Nearly half the adult population of the United States. Failure 4 was the disclosure. Equifax detected the breach on July 29th. The public was told on September 7th, 40 days later. In the interval, 3 Equifax executives sold nearly $2 million of stock. They were later cleared of insider trading, but the optics defined the response. Each failure alone was survivable. An unpatched server is common. A flat network is common. An expired certificate is common. A slow disclosure is common. The breach wasn't caused by sophistication. It was caused by 4 mundane gaps that lined up in sequence and an institution slow enough to let them. When systems fail, look for the alignment. The story is rarely the attacker. The story is the institution that left 4 doors open and called each one someone else's job.